Hello everyone. We welcome you back to our YouTube channel with an amazing video on rock bands. What makes the greatest rock band of all time? Sound, genre and cultures influence a lot. There are many solo artists and bands that have done great work and helped shape the sound of rock as we know it, but if they specialize in just one area of production or their instrument, they don't fall under the category of band. In this video, we'll present to you the top 10 greatest rock bands of all time. If you are new here, please subscribe to our channel The Top Expert for more interesting and informative videos. 10. Radiohead. Radiohead is an English rock band that became the most successful art rock band of the early 21st century. Radiohead consisted of singer-guitarist Thom Yorke, bassist Colin Greenwood, guitarist Ed O'Brien, drummer Phil Selway and keyboardist Jonny Greenwood. A strong influence of American groups such as the Pixies. Radiohead paid the starting price in a local pub chain. Although their debut album, Pablo Honey, showed what was to come, The Incredible Creep, a self-deprecating affair, was a hit. Waves in the US. In 2003, the highly anticipated album Hail to the Thief reached number 3 on the US album chart. The band released their 7th album, In Rainbows, 2007, as an online download. An estimated 1.2 million fans downloaded the album in its first week of availability. The new distribution method generated headlines, but the album's content, a collection of 10 songs that served as a confident, optimistic and sonically high point of the bends, led critics to declare the closest thing to Radiohead's album in a decade. 9. The Beach Boys. The Beach Boys is an American rock band formed in 1961 in Hawthorne, California. The original lineup of the band consisted of brothers Brian, Dennis, and Carl Wilson, cousin Mike Love and friend Al Ardard. Distinguished by their vocal harmony, youth-oriented themes and musicianship, they are one of the most influential acts in the rock era. In the early 2010s, the original members briefly reunited for the band's 50th anniversary. In 2022, Wilson and Jardine will not appear on The Beach Boys' Love release, but will remain official members of the band. The Beach Boys are one of the most popular and commercially successful bands of all time, selling over 100 million records worldwide. Between 1960 and 2010, the group had 36 hits in the US Top 40, the most by an American group, and 4 reached the Billboard Hot 100. In 2004, he was ranked 12th on Rolling Stone's list of the greatest artists of all time. Always. 8. Metallica. Metallica is an American heavy metal band. The band was formed in 1981 in Los Angeles by vocalist/guitarist James Hetfield and drummer Lars Ulrich and has been based in San Francisco for most of its career. Metallica first found commercial success with the release of its third album, Master of Puppets, 1986, cited as one of the heaviest metal albums in the band's best work. The band's next album, And Justice for All, 1988, gave Metallica its first Grammy Award nomination. Their self-titled fifth album, Metallica, 1991, was the band's first not to root predominantly in thrash metal. It appealed to a more mainstream audience, achieving substantial commercial success and selling over 16 million copies in the United States to date, making it the best-selling album of the SoundScan era. In 2009, Metallica was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The band has won 9 Grammy Awards from 23 nominations. 7. The Who. The Who is a British rock band started in 1964. Its classic lineup includes lead singer Roger Daltrey, guitarist and singer Pete Townsend, guitarist and singer John Entwistle, and drummer Keith Moon. They are considered one of the most influential rock bands of the 20th century and have sold over 100 million records worldwide. They are cited as an influence by hard rock, punk rock and mod bands, and their songs are still played regularly. In 1990, they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. His first single, Who Can't Explain, 1965, reached the UK Top 10 and was followed by a string of hit singles. My Generation, 1965, The Challenger, 1966, and Lucky Jack, 1966. In 1967 they performed at the Monterey Pop Festival and released the US Top 10 hit I Can See for Miles. The 1969 concept album, Tommy, included the single Pinball Wizard and was a critical and commercial success. In 1999 a full reunion started with drummer Zach Starkey. In 2019, the band released the album Who. 6. The Rolling Stones. The Rolling Stones are an English rock band formed in London in 1962. Active for 6 decades, they are one of the most popular and enduring bands of the rock era. Their first stable lineup consisted of vocalist Mick Jagger, multi-instrumentalist Brian Jones, guitarist Keith Richards, bassist Bill Wyman, and drummer Charlie Watts. Rooted in blues and early rock and roll, the Rolling Stones started out playing covers and were at the forefront of the British invasion in 1964. Sticky Fingers, 1971, which yielded Brown Sugar and included the first usage of their tongue and lips logo, was their first of 8 consecutive #1 studio albums in the US. Exile. The band continued to release successful albums, including their 2 largest sellers, Some Girls, 1978, featuring Miss You, and Tattoo You, 1981, featuring Start Me Up. The Rolling Stones' estimated record sales of 200 million make them one of the best-selling music artists of all time. The band has won 3 Grammy Awards and a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. They were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1989 and the UK Music Hall of Fame in 2004. 5. Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd is an English rock band formed in London in 1965. They gained early fame as one of the first British psychedelic bands, distinguished by their expansive compositions, sonic experimentation, philosophical lyrics and expansive live performances. Pink Floyd was formed in 1965 by Syd Barrett, Nick Mason, Roger Waters, and Richard Wright. Barrett produced 2 chart-topping singles and a successful debut album, The Piper at Dawn. The Gates, 1967. Guitarist and singer David Gilmour joined in December 1967. In 2005, all but Barrett reunited for a one-off performance at the global media event Live 8. As of 2013, Pink Floyd has sold more than 250 million records worldwide, making it one of the best-selling music artists of all time. The Dark Side of the Moon and The Wall have been inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. They were inducted into the US Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1996 and the UK Music Hall of Fame in 2005. 4. Queen. Queen is an English rock band formed in London in 1970. The band consists of Freddie Mercury, Brian May, Roger Taylor, and John Deacon. Their early work was influenced by progressive rock, hard rock and heavy metal, but the band gradually moved to more traditional and radio-friendly work, incorporating styles such as arena rock and pop rock. Queen first charted in the UK in 1974 with her second album, Queen II. The latter featured Bohemian Rhapsody, which spent 9 weeks at #1 in the UK and helped popularize the music video genre. The band's 1977 album News of the World included the hits Will Rock You and We're the Champions, which became national anthems at sporting events. Queen has been a global presence in popular culture for over 40 years. Estimated sales of their records range from 170 million to 300 million, making them one of the best-selling music artists in the world. In 1990, the Queen received a Brit Award for her contribution to British music. In 2001, he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. In 2018, they were presented with a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. 3. Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin is an English rock band formed in London in 1968. The band consists of singer Robert Plant, guitarist Jimmy Page, bassist/keyboardist John Paul Jones, and drummer John Bonham. With a heavy, guitar-driven sound, it is characterized as one of the origins of hard rock and heavy metal, but its style draws from a variety of influences, including blues and folk music. Led Zeppelin signed a deal with Atlantic Records that gave them considerable artistic freedom. Led Zeppelin was a top 10 album in several countries and featured hits such as Good Times Bad Times, Dazed and Confused and Breaking Up. Led Zeppelin II, 1969, was his first #1 album. Led Zeppelin is one of the best-selling music artists of all time. Their record sales are between 200 to 300 million worldwide. He has achieved 8 consecutive UK #1 albums. In 1995, he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. 2. Nirvana. Nirvana is an American rock band formed in 1987 in Washington. Formed by singer and guitarist Kurt Cobain and bassist Chris Novoselic, the band went through drummers, especially Chad Channing, before Dave Grohl was created in 1990. Characterized by a punk aesthetic, Nirvana's fusion of pop music with a sound combined with abstruse alien and social themes has gained worldwide popularity. His posthumous live album MTV Unplugged in New York, 1994, won Best Alternative Music Artist at the 1996 Grammy Awards. Nirvana is one of the best-selling bands in the world, having sold more than 75 million records worldwide. In 2014, They were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in their inaugural year. 1. The Clash. The Clash is a British rock band formed in London in 1976 and played a key role in the original wave of British punk rock. For most of their recording career, The Clash consisted of lead singer and rhythm guitarist Joe Strummer, guitarist and vocalist Mick Jones, bassist Paul Simon and drummer Nicky Topper-Hedon. The Clash achieved critical and commercial success in the UK with the release of their first album The Clash, 1977, and their second album Enough Rope, 1978. Released in the UK in December 1979, their experimental third album, London Calling, became a hit in the US when it was released there the following month. The last album, Cut the Crap, was released in 1985 with a new lineup, and the band disbanded a few weeks later. In January 2003, the band was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. If you like the content of the video, please give it a thumbs up. Comment down below. Don't forget